Right at the end of the Taiarapu Peninsula, landing stages on piles tell travellers that contrary to appearances, this distant part of Tahiti is not totally deserted. As an extension to the few dwellings lost in the vegetation, these docks allow the locals to berth their boats, their only link with the rest of the world. Is it the absence of a road or the lushness of nature? But a strange and peculiar atmosphere emanates from here. In the rainy season, one must surely feel isolated. But in this month of May, with plenty of bright skies, there's no feeling of boredom. This part of Tahiti is said to be the preferred territory of those they call the nature men, a place where you live happily in harmony and self-sufficiency. To the west, on the road to the Big Island, over towards the channels, the ocean suddenly becomes louder. Here, there's a sight that is the dream of surfers throughout the world. It's Taiarapu and its legendary wave, one of the highest, longest, and most difficult waves on the planet. Taiarapu is everywhere around Tahiti. There is neither high tide nor low tide. At the foot of the mountains, it's the very short and very abrupt plateau that suddenly lifts the ocean swell. A gust of wind thousands of kilometers away in the Pacific, and every surfer in the region comes hurtling to Taiarapu. But when the wave falls back, the curious and courageous surfer can turn to the mountains and think that it wouldn't be a bad idea to go and challenge the elements. In the interior, woe is he. Often hidden in the clouds, drenched by diluvian rains, here are the peaks of the Taiarapu Peninsula, a geological curiosity. Because of the slope and also the vegetation, these monoliths born of volcanic activity are virtually inaccessible. Even animals are rarely to be seen there. At the foot of this moonscape, Polynesian style, we find the edge of the sea, civilization, and lastly, wide, flat and workable spaces where man can conduct ordinary activities, agriculture and cattle breeding. This is Little Normandy, the Normandy that is 17,000 kilometers from Lisieux and Carentan. It's the granary of Polynesia. Green, lush grass near the sea. Nothing distinguishes this Normandy from the real one, other than the cows, who flee the burning sun, preferring to chew the cud in the shade. Linked by an isthmus, Tahiti consists of two islands, the peninsula of Taiarapu, the wildest one stretching away there into the distance, and Tahiti Nui, the big island of Tahiti, the most populated island in all French Polynesia. A very busy coastal road runs along the whole island, You take your bearings from the names of the villages, but also from the famous PKs, the kilometre points numbered 0 to 60 from west to east. The lower the PK number, the more dense is the population. Near PK 15, we're practically in town, in the suburbs of Papeete, the capital. The population of Polynesia is 260,000, and 3/4 of them live here. Beaches of white sand now succeed the beaches of black sand. And a few dozen meters from the lagoon, chic residences make you forget the houses on stilts of the peninsula. The subsidies from metropolitan France certainly have something to do with this. And the nuclear tests carried out by the French forces at Moorea certainly contributed to the local economy, as well as to the health of the population. To find air and space, to escape from this huge urban density, there remains one alternative on Tahiti. Go higher. As the crow flies, just a few minutes from the sea, you have the diadem. Altitude 1,321 meters. In the northwest of the island, there is Mount Orohena at 2,241 meters, the highest mountain in French Polynesia. To return from these Polynesian Alps, you just need to follow the trail of the valleys. The descent is a dizzy one. And at the bottom of the slope, you find Papeete. PK10, and it's the Taina Marina where the smart yachts stop over. PK5 with its lighthouse and its international airport. When passengers from Europe arrive, they have eyes only for the lagoon, and you can understand them. But how many realize that the runway is alongside one of the biggest shanty towns in Polynesia? Out of the port of Papeete, we see a sailboat setting out for Fiji. One of those big private boats that throughout the year discreetly sail the waters of Polynesia. This afternoon, it's the famous Endeavour that shows the course to follow to reach Tahiti's sister island, just 17 kilometers away, the island of Moorea. At Moorea, we are still in the Windward Islands, but the impression remains that we change setting every time. There are valleys, but also long bays, that of Cook and Opunohu, that lead us upwards above the pineapple plantations towards the mountains. The mountains of Moorea are a sort of emblem of the country, and the peak is featured on the reverse of the local currency, the Pacific franc. There's also the pierced mountain that valiant mountaineers can reach after very long and hot hours of walking. Good luck to you. At the weekend, that is to say from noon on Friday, many of Papeete's inhabitants leave the city, its noise and its constraints, to visit the Moorea lagoon. Certainly, at Moorea you can think you're on holiday all year round. The cruise passengers know that. There's not 1 week without a liner dropping anchor near Papeete. And like everywhere else in Polynesia, lots of hotels, too many. The Moorea Club Med, now closed for years, is in ruins. It's a little after 6. At the far end of Tahiti, the big lighthouse on Point Venus still hasn't lit its lantern. On the beach, young Tahitians play soccer, perhaps dreaming of a destiny worthy of Vahirua, one of the rare professional Polynesian players in the French league. In fact, France, metropolitan France, suddenly seems immensely far away, light years away from the nonchalance of these 2 women and these children. Training is over for these canoeists who dream of becoming Polynesian champions. Saturday night in the port of Papeete. The quays will slowly fill up around the trailers where you can eat until late into the night, especially if there's a show on in Papeete Square. For many Polynesians, Papeete is a mirage, an abstraction. All these streets, all these boulevards, all these roads, all these people. The shock is too brutal. Some can't take it and turn around. Night has already fallen over Tahiti. Only the mountains of Moorea stand out in the sunset. It's time to go home.